Hey, Chris Liepe here with how to sing like Brent Smith from Shinedown. What a fantastic voice with all sorts of warmth and character and variety. He has a great way of phrasing confidently, using distortion, and being aggressive in a way that gives you a hug. I don't know of really any other way to describe it, but it's a fun voice to listen to and suits the songwriting of Shinedown really, really well. And as you'll see in these studio examples I've cherry-picked out of some of their most well-known songs, Brent's ability to use dynamic resonance and vowel modifications in concert with the way he uses his airflow gives him the variety of sound while allowing him to be constant at the same time. And you might say, well, isn't that what every singer does? They modify their vowels and they use different resonances. And, well, every singer should do this, but a lot of singers forget that the best tone comes from lots of different types of tonal experimentations and experiments within our voice. It's not about our voices having one good tone or the overall tone of our voice being great. It's about experiencing lots of different ways to resonate and embrace different types of resonances and sounds that give us great tone. That's why studying Brent's approach is so profound. And if you'd like more help with this kind of vocal training, the best place to start with me is by clicking the link below and joining my free voice course. There's lots of ways that we can work from there. But I'll help you do some of these things, actually all of these things, on a more personalized level. All right, let's get into this. From the song Second Chance. I just saw Haley's comet. Listen to the way he sings Comet versus Haley. I just saw Haley's come. There's very subtle things that are happening here. He's moving his resonance around, and it gives us this rich sound. I just saw forward, belted, round, bellish, and then comet. This isn't Haley's car. Hear the difference? Ka was placed the same as hey. Instead, he's going hey ka ka. He's placing ka much more nasally, and resonating further back towards his soft palate. Whereas hey is this drilling into your forehead sense of resonance. It's more belty. And then listen on wave. She waved. This isn't waved. This is waved. Changes the note, but also changes drastically the way it's resonating mid-word. This is modifying vowels. She waved. And then leaning in to that resonant change. Fully embracing waved. I just saw Haley's comet. She waved. Is a lot more interesting than I just saw Haley's comet. She waved. Oops, I even did the vowel thing at the end. Let me delete that too. I just saw Haley's comet, she waved. Now you might say, well, you're using less vibrato, you're using less, working up to the pitches and all that stuff. Yes, but as a result of me flattening out the way I resonate, those things go away naturally. I'm not thinking about using less vibrato. That's the magic of some of this stuff, is that when we think about moving our resonance around, we're freer and looser because we're not static. And things like vibrato and note ghosting and agility somehow find their way in automatically or accidentally. Okay? Moving on. I'm not angry, I'm just saying. Here we get to experience these resonant shifts in his voice with some compression in his higher register. I'm not let's just take that. This is not, it's not the second J. It's not right there. It's, and then there's this sense that we have this crowish thing going on where he's putting his resonance back. Do you remember in the last sample we had this resonance? It's there on this second sample. And then compression. Hold back some air like you're lifting something heavy after you get this resonance. No. Highly nasal. I'm at compression. There it is. And as you're dialing this stuff in, this is not a matter of like, okay, do this, and then it sounds great. You can even hear it with me. Sometimes my voice cracks a little bit. Sometimes I have to move things into place. This is what it's about. If you really want to discover how to make your voice interesting, experiment. Use Brent as a inspiration to do so. But there's the resonance. Now let's listen through to the rest of this line. Where does it change? For me, it changes on re. I'm not angry. I'm not angry. A little bit on ang. I'm bringing ang more forward. I'm not angry. Ang becomes a little bit more belty. Although still nasal. Angry. And then I take it completely out of my nose and bring it forward for the E. Okay, listening on. Now I'm just there. I'm putting I'm back where he's been, right? This sort of crowish. And then just comes way more forward, and you can hear this. And then he closes that saying, right? Saying! Like that. But if we have this higher note here, so freeing. I'm just. That's cool. There's this sense of throwing just. And so if we let this get into our voice a little bit more, we can have some fun with it. I'm not angry. I'm just saying. Notice how I'm moving the resonance around. I'm sort of taking it another step. I'm not trying to do exactly what he does. I'm letting this idea of say, that idea inform what my voice's natural tendencies are doing. And it's helping me move things around. Sometimes goodbye is a second. Sometimes, yeah. Lower larynx here. There's almost this crooner sort of thing happening. Sometimes he's brighter in other places, but this word sometimes, there's this authoritative nature to it, which is giving him this sometimes goodbye is a second chance. Now listen to second chance. And what's neat about this is that he's throwing that resonance back. Second! And then he belts up chance. That's that right in your forehead. I'm telling you, this way of moving resonances around is going to improve your range, your stamina, and your interest. And I am purposely exaggerating some of these things in my own singing so I can get the feel. You want to exaggerate when you're experimenting with this stuff. Don't be tentative. You can always dial it back later, but you must experience the extremes first. Yeah. Authoritative. Sometimes goodbye is a second chance. Getting grittier now. And I'm a savage. It's automatic. And forward, belty. Listen to the way he throws that back, like we've been talking about. It's also helping with that grit, because it's harder to do that in chest voice. It's harder to be back. It's easier to be forward. And so you're approaching that vulnerable break. And when you lean into that, you can create this grit. And I'm a savage. Yeah. It's automatic. It's not. It's automatic. No, it's ah. Okay? And then listen here. I got a way of making noise. The power to destroy, no static. And he has this way of doing, it's almost this like scat rap thing where he chooses a note. I've got a way of making noise. It's a really cool way to work, where you kind of choose a note and you talk around the note. La, 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 la. We'll see more of that in a little bit. But keep this in mind. This is the posture. When he gets more aggressive, he tends to put it back more. Those are from Cut the Cord, by the way. And I'm a savage. It's automatic. I got a way of making noise. The power to destroy, no static. The power to destroy, no static. From Sound of Madness. Yeah, I get it. You're an outcast. Always under attack. Always coming in last. What I love about this is you get to hear both versions of his lower voice. Yeah, I get it. You're an outcast. Yeah, I get it. You're... Now I can almost reach that note. Oh, there. I get that. But here, the way it's layered is so cool, because you don't necessarily need to have the note at the bottom there. He's got the note in the higher octave. Yeah, I get it, you're an outcast. Yeah, I get it, you're an outcast. So it's okay if it's sort of spoken at the bottom. Yeah, I get it, you're an outcast. I'm sort of hitting the notes, but it's more about the layer that creates that interest, and the fact that it's not perfect and they're not perfectly on pitch in the lower part sounds really great. Always under attack. Always under attack. Always under attack. Like that would work great, even though I'm not really hitting that note that well there. Watch your back! This is just a wonderful example of that moving, even as he's speaking quickly or singing quickly, that throwing of the resonance back and forward. So watch is back. Watch is back and back is forward. Watch your back! Watch it! Go ahead and just speak this a couple times, like he resonates. Watch your back! Back! Don't worry about the pitch, even though I'm sort of accidentally hitting it. But watch your back! Watch your back! Sound like a weird posing New Yorker accent or something. I don't even know what that is. But think about this. Watch your back! Watch! It's not watch your back! It's not that. It's watch your back! Watch your back! So much more interesting all the time. But I love how he does this even with these quick sort of things that are happening. And this is probably the best example in his more aggressive sounding voice of that really leaning into the back nasal crow sound. None of this is doing that. And that vibrato, that teetery vibrato that he has at the end, shows just how far back it is. Yeah, when you're gonna wake up and find. When you're gonna wake up and find. So cool. Oh my, here we go, another loose cannon gone bipolar, slip down, couldn't get much lower. This is one of those examples where he's sort of, we've got those notes, right? Oh my, here we go, another loose cannon gone bipolar, slip. But it's doubled here, another loose cannon. And what I would recommend is, rather than trying to sing his exact notes here, you actually come up with a different phrase that is unique to you and sort of sing it to yourself. All right, here we go. My arm got hurt and it really made me mad. Arm got hurt and it really made me mad. All right, here we go. Get in the rhythm of what you're saying. Don't worry about the pitch so much. It almost sounds like an auctioneer. Yeah. What this is allowing us to do is put this idea that rhythm and attitude is more important than pitch or girth. We tend to think about pitch and girth being the things that we're striving for. That shouldn't be the case. Those things are going to come more naturally. Yes, it's important to study the way you use your air, the way you use compression, and it's important to not be awkwardly off pitch. But a lot of these things, especially awkwardly off pitch, those are going to go away if you're delivering a rhythmically interesting and engaged performance. And that's what he's so good at here. From The Crow and the Butterfly, incidentally, my favorite Shinedown song, and the chord progression and the way that the melody over the chorus and the rhythm works is just, I just love it. I love the dissonance. I love that right here. How the voice is climbing and the guitar is like, it's so cool. Listen to the chasing a butterfly, fly, nasal, that nasal low warming whine that he's got. And then crow is that bellish, just like a crow chasing a butterfly. Yeah. That's in the Y, dandelion. Dandelions! It wouldn't work any other way. Dandelion! No, because we have this part right here. We have crow and line. It like cradles you. The variety and the vulnerability this creates cradles you. And this line is the best example of that, I think. Lions lost in the summer sky. It gives me shivers even now to listen to this and embrace those resonant changes. It is so powerful. I got to listen to it again. Just like a crow chasing a butterfly, dandelions lost in the summer sky. Let the excitement of the sensations you feel as you internalize his voice inspire you to do things with your own voice. It's quite the experience. From the same song. Listen to how he leans in with the compression here. How that guitar, just the arrangement is. Just a little too late. Just a little too late. What we want to take away from this line is, as we start losing air because we're using more air, rather than becoming depleted and dropping below a comfortable amount of breath support, like that, we want to hold back more air. So, late! And then as you do that, you're going to be holding back more air, creating more grit with your false chord area. And I talk about this a lot more in other videos and a lot in my courses. How to engage your false chords! To hold back air and create more grit. But we want to harness a balance that allows us to hold that note out a long time and be gritty. That's really what he's doing here. The grit that he has on his voice is actually allowing him to hold the note longer because he's conserving air. A little too late. You have to be careful with this because we can tend to blow more air by trying to save air. So don't necessarily push harder. Allow yourself to feel the sensation of holding back air. And you'll almost feel this sense of relaxation, of resting in the note. Experiment with the different resonances, head voice, chest voice, so you can feel the difference between holding back air, belting without any sort of holding back air, and resting in the note. And from Fly from the Inside. Now this is doubled, but the key to this line is actually at the very end. Listen to how he exits. How it gets really, really broken up. He is on the very edge of his, what sounds like chest voice. This is not, on my shoulders. It's not that. This is, it's on my shoulders. It's nasal. On my shoulders. And then as he's pushing this further and further, he's running out of air. And then there's that that comes in, which is the result of him starting to break. His voice is starting to crack there. But he leans into it instead of goes, ooh. Here's the difference. On my shoulder. Ooh, that sounds horrible. Or, on my shoulder. When my voice starts to crack, rather than going up, my voice is starting to crack, I can actually lean into that crack, focus my attention on the upper area of my throat. And he's doing this much more subtly than I did. I really exaggerated it there. But that's going to be able to get you to really belt out or harness these higher notes. Remember, nasality is a big part of this. On my shoulders! And then as he comes down, there's this sense that you would crack. Your voice would crack. But if you put more support into that vulnerability in your voice, it will turn into shoulders instead of shoulders. I hope you've enjoyed this breakdown of Brent Smith from Shinedown. Love this guy's voice. Really enjoy the songwriting and the arranging and the overall production as well. Nice balances of a lot of things. Again, if you'd like more help with your own voice and you'd like to go deeper with me on a more personal level, click that link below and join my free voice course. And be sure to check out a lot of my other vocal analyses videos on the channel as well. See you soon.